4 teams from the Big 12 will battle tonight for the conference title. The Nebraska Cornhuskers. They've dominated this tournament, winning 5 of the 6 previous titles, and they are the favorite again. Junior Rochelle Simpson, who's been the Big 12 Gymnast of the Week 6 times this season. The Iowa State Cyclones. For their second Big 12 title, they'll lean on freshman Erin Detloff, 2-time Big 12 Gymnast of the Week, and could own this conference the next 3 years. The Oklahoma Sooners have been on a roll, to say the least. Steve Nuno's squad has won 6 of the last 7 meets, and they will turn to senior Patricia Aoki to lead the charge. The Missouri Tigers. The host school has turned it around this season. They recorded their first winning season since 1996. And we'll look to sophomore Alicia Robinson to lead the way. It's time to compete for the hardware. Who will carry it home? Find out next on Fox Sports Net. Center on the campus of the University of Missouri in Columbia, Missouri. It's the Big 12 Gymnastics Championships. Hello everybody, I'm Joe Castellano along with 3-time Olympian Dominique Dawes, and we've got some great excitement for you coming up. And certainly it's March Madness for college basketball, but in gymnastics it's the build-up for April for the NCAA championships. And does it start getting nerve-wracking right now, you think?
It does get a little nerve-wracking, but these gymnasts have prepared themselves mentally as well as physically for this moment. So April Madness is here to come. They're here for the Big 12 championships in pursuit for an NCAA title.
Well, one team that has to be confident is Nebraska. They are number 2 in the nation, 17-1, and it's not really a surprise that they do well.
No, it's not a surprise. Nebraska's had a wonderful showing in history. They've won 5 out of the last 6 championships. Iowa State got a wonderful opportunity to sneak in a win there in 2000. And also the Oklahoma Sooners. Their strong performances have been great this season, as well as Missouri. Home crowd advantage is going to be an advantage.
Now, young gymnasts, they grow up and they get on each apparatus and they think individually, but here it's a little bit different. There's really an emphasis on the team competition, isn't there?
Yeah, in collegiate gymnastics, the focus is on team. You're here for your Sooners, you're here for your Tigers. That's the focus in gymnastics. You're still going to be focusing on yourself on the one piece of apparatus, but it's all about team in college.
Now, how does it work here as far as scoring and everything?
Well, as well as scoring for the team competition, there's going to be 6 gymnasts that are actually going to be competing, and 5 of those top scores will count. They'll be competing on all 4 different apparatuses: the vault, the uneven parallel bars, the balance beam, as well as the floor exercise. 50 points per rotation and 200 points possible. That'd be a 10-0 on every single apparatus.
Now, one of the best gymnasts in the country is Rochelle Simpson of Nebraska, and we'll keep our eyes on her today. She's really incredible.
This junior has been spectacular this season. She's had 8 individual event titles. She's gotten 4 perfect 10s, and she's definitely going to be a strength for the Huskers this evening. I know that if she hits, the rest of her team will be psyched up for a win.
And plenty of young talent. Erin Detloff of Iowa State is somebody we will definitely watch for, a freshman.
A freshman being spectacular. It's a wonderful, refreshing thing to see. This freshman is actually starting to lead her team. She's learning, of course, from her seniors, but she's been competing quite strong and confident this season.
So it should be a great competition. Stay with us. Coming up, the Big 12 Gymnastics Championships from Columbia, Missouri. Coming up next on Fox Sports Net. Great to have you with us for the 2003 Big 12 Championships for Gymnastics here at Hearn Center. As we come inside, and here is the rotation schedule with Missouri on the floor and Iowa State on the bars, Nebraska on the vault, and Oklahoma on the beams.
Yeah, Oklahoma gets to start beam. That's actually one of the most difficult events to start on, being that it's the event that you could easily fall off on. But earlier, speaking to Steve Nuno, he's definitely ready, prepared, and his gymnasts are geared up.
And there is Patricia Aoki, who will compete first on the beam, and she has been fantastic this year, the Big 12 Gymnast of the Year finalist from Oklahoma, and she comes from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Interesting gymnast. And there is Steve Nuno, the head coach, and doing a great job in his second year at Oklahoma. His team ranked 6th in the nation.
Steve's a wonderful coach. I've known him for quite a few years. Used to coach Olympic champion Shannon Miller throughout all of her career, and he's doing a wonderful job with Oklahoma right now.
In fact, he told me before the meet that Patricia Aoki reminds him of Shannon Miller because Shannon Miller was a quiet leader, just went about her business, very focused, and that's the same way Patricia Aoki is.
Yeah, in warm-ups, her warm-ups went quite well. They were solid. Balance beam looked great, and I think she's going to perform quite well in this first event. That's why they have her actually starting off first. When you're consistent and you're solid, they definitely want you first up on the apparatus because then you start the team off the right way.
Now, how difficult is it for Oklahoma to start out on the beam? Because certainly that is a tough apparatus.
Yeah, a lot of gymnasts would prefer not to start out on the beam, but, you know, you kind of give what they give you, and here you go.
And here goes Patricia.
Front somersault mount into a jump. Nice combination in bonus. That was a leap combination there. Switch leap due to a straddle jump, which is required on the balance beam. You have to have a leap followed by a jump for your jump combination.
A little bit of a slip there.
A little bit of a slip. She seemed to be a little crooked going off on her left. Little problem with her arm staying up.
Is it tough because you're on the beam as the first apparatus, because you have little nerves coming into the competition?
Well, to tell you the truth, the beam is tough for anyone. I mean, you're flipping on a piece of equipment that's only 4 inches wide, 4 feet off the ground. You really have to just stay focused, and it's all about those one-by-one dance and flips that you do the whole time. Here's her dismount. Double full, beautiful. Little slight deduction on the landing.
Nice performance by Patricia Aoki, the senior.
Well, here's the series that she had a little bit of problems on. A little crooked there. And nice swing down onto the beam. Right there you can see the 4 inches that she's flipping on.
So Patricia Aoki getting it started for Oklahoma. Awaiting her score. As we go to the bars. Crystal Carney from Iowa State. The Cyclones last year 14-9, this year 6-8. A little bit of a disappointing season for KJ Kindler. Her team ranked 13th though in the country, still expected to do well.
Well, last year at the Big 12 Championships, they came in second, and they definitely want to improve on that with this squad that they have. They have a few leaders that are their seniors this year, so this is their last time out to really prove themselves.
And they finished second the year before as well. They actually won the Big 12 title in 2000, the only school other than Nebraska to win the Big 12 championship since they switched from Big 8 to Big 12.
Yeah, the Cornhuskers have definitely been dominating the Big 12 championships, and it's been quite amazing, but we'll see what they can do this evening.
So here goes Crystal Carney.
Strong uprise. Full pirouette and handstand. Tkachev, very nice height on that. That's one thing the judges are looking at on release moves. You have to show amplitude. You have to show height, how high up you get off the uneven parallel bars. Now she's preparing for a dismount. Double tuck dismount. It's definitely one of the more simple discounts that you can do, but it was a perfect landing, so that should score quite nicely. Nice straddle handstand. And here she goes, ending with another uprise. Nice handstand right there. Into her dismount. Clean, perfect landing.
Well, she should score well the way she landed there, and she's excited.
Yeah, by the smile on her face, she looks happy.
Well, you talk about leaders. Earlier we were discussing how there are a lot of good freshmen, but even if you're not the best competitor on your team and you're a senior, you really need to try to help lead your team.
Yeah, you really want the gymnasts on your team to really listen to the person that's preaching to them. And a lot of people aren't going to listen to freshmen right off the bat. You're going to listen to juniors and seniors, people that have been on the college circuit for a while and have proven themselves. Nice 1.5 pirouette through a Jaeger. That's actually called a Dawes.
They named it after you, huh?
Yeah, they named it after me. Something that I competed at the Olympics as well as World Championships. Nice double tuck dismount, slight deduction on the landing. She stepped out a little too soon. It was a nice routine. So Jaeger somersault, a little form deduction on her knees and feet, but that's a difficult release move. A lot of people don't choose that one.
She set a career high in this event this year at 9.850.
Yes, she did. Nice double tuck, and there a little bit of a step.
Seems a little disappointed, maybe. But now she's smiling. Now we go to the floor exercise. And Andrea Nervig of the University of Missouri, and there should be a lot of cheering anytime you see the Tigers out there here at their home arena.
Yeah, they definitely have a nice home turnout. The head coach was telling me that there was 1,000 tickets that were sold, and they were expecting more than 1,000 to show up. So I'm sure they're going to play up to this crowd.
Andrea on the floor tied a Missouri junior record with a career high 9.90 on the floor exercise just a few weeks ago.
Okay, it looks like Andrea chose a little bit of hip-hop music, which is definitely not the choice for elite gymnastics, but in college you have the freedom and the flexibility to choose any music you'd like, and I'm sure this is going to get the crowd rocking.
Stumbled a little bit there on that landing.
Yeah, a little problem on her double pike somersault in the beginning, but she seems to be recovering quite nicely.
Now, you and I were talking about the tape on the ankle. You don't just tape your ankles unless you've had a problem before, so maybe she had a problem with her right ankle.
Yeah, she does have a little bit of tape on the ankles, as you see. It's the same color as her skin complexion, trying to hide the fact that she has tape on, but we can still see.
Andrea from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Now, the floor exercise, you were telling me that it's definitely something that you get a little fatigue involved.
Well, endurance is a big factor in the floor exercise routine. Right now, she's going for a third tumbling pass. I know she's feeling a little tired, but you really got to keep smiling and act as if you're strong and powerful as just as you were in the beginning. Nice routine for Andrea.
Andrea Nervig of Missouri.
And here she goes on her first tumbling pass. Double pike somersault, wonderful height, but she stepped almost right out of bounds. That's going to be a 10th deduction right there.
We'll be back with more of the Big 12 Women's Gymnastics Championships in just a moment. Welcome back to Hearn Center here on the campus of the University of Missouri, the 2003 Big 12 Championships. As we are going to check out the beam, and Casey Tamayo, a junior for Oklahoma. And she had a perfect 10 last year on the beam during a regular season meet. Can she equal that here at the Big 12 Championships?
Well, definitely. If Casey wants to equal that, she's going to have to make no mistakes whatsoever. As you know, a perfect 10 means a perfect performance, and we can see if she'll do that again.
That seemed like a rather simple mount.
But that wasn't simple at all. That was a layout series. That was pretty serious. You know, a lot of people opt to choose to do simpler mounts just to get on the beam safely. Some people want to do flips and more difficult things, but some people opt to do simpler moves. Just as long as you make up the combination in your routine, it really doesn't matter.
You can see her left foot taped up. She had a foot injury. How difficult is this apparatus when you've had a foot injury?
Well, it depends on how, what degree her foot was injured. I think she's recovered quite well. I saw her tumble a little bit today in the warm-ups on floor. So I think she's coming back. She's a strong competitor. And if you know gymnasts, we're pretty tough athletes.
Junior from Sacramento, California.
So far, this is a beautiful routine. The only problem that I saw was a step on her dismount. The series was wonderful, her combinations and jumps. And here's her first series, layout, and this is what's done on elite level, and that's beautiful, done perfect.
So Casey Tamayo finishing the beam, and one of a few of the Oklahoma gymnasts that have come back from injuries. And now we're going to go to the bars. And we'll check out Erin Detloff from Iowa State. There she is. And we talked about her. The freshman has been outstanding.
Erin's a strong competitor for Iowa State right now. She's only a freshman, but she's been proven to be quite successful throughout the season so far.
And interesting that she's from Omaha, Nebraska, but she didn't go to Nebraska. Goes to Iowa State.
Not at all. She actually started the routine with wonderful combinations there. Hop full to hop half, completing a full pirouette through to a takacha. That's definitely a difficult combination. Ending with a double layout. Beautiful routine.
Little jubilation there. As Erin has been terrific on the bars this year, tied for second best in the conference in a meet earlier this year. On the beam is Allison Landis of Oklahoma, the sophomore.
Here she prepares for a series combination here. Back handspring layout. Beautiful form, straight legs and pointed toes, just what the judges are looking for.
She's part of an Oklahoma team that had a 7-meet win streak going before they lost at Stanford at the end of the season.
You know, on the balance beam, when you're a gymnast and you're up there, you hear the crowd cheering for other teams and you hear music going, but you really focus on your own world. You focus on what you're doing on the beam to make sure those external distractions do not distract you.
It's got to be difficult because how would you prepare for that? You know, when you're in the gym, you're not really getting that kind of crowd reaction normally.
Well, actually, you are. You know, there's going to be people screaming for your other teammates in other events. You're going to hear music. You're going to hear people crying and little class kids, you know, doing different things. So you get distractions all the time. That was a beautiful routine.
Good landing there for Allison Landis of Oklahoma. Greeted by Steve Nuno. Now to the floor exercise, and Alicia Robinson of the University of Missouri.
This is going to be an exciting routine. She gets a chance to perform to the home crowd, really get them more involved, more enthusiastic about this meet that's going on.
A lot of anticipation for her. She was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year last year, a sophomore now. And the second time in Missouri history that they had an All-American last year in Alicia Robinson. It's interesting, her coach, Rob Drass, calling her a perfectionist. He said sometimes that works to her detriment, though, because she tries to be too perfect.
Yeah, if you know a lot of gymnasts, a lot of us are perfectionists. If you get frustrated quite easily, but it also is good because you continue to persevere and you continue to expect the best from yourself.
Now, you tested out the floor earlier. Is it average or a little extra bouncy?
Yeah, it's pretty good, but I'm 26, so I'm not going to be jumping on it anytime soon.
Do you want it to be real bouncy?
It depends. You know, you really want it to be like your practice floor at home. If you have a bouncy floor at home, you want a bouncy floor in the meet. If you have a hard floor at home, you want a hard floor at the meet.
Well, this is her home floor.
Yeah! Beautiful double layout. She stays in bounds. It's pretty impressive.
To know where you are too, because if you step on the white part of the floor there, you get a
10th deduction. Yeah,
right?
You step 1 foot on the white, it's a 10th deduction. And you know, us gymnasts train since the age of 6, 7 years old, so you get kind of familiar with the parameters of the floor as well as the 4 inches on beam and the feel of the bar. So you know, that's not anything difficult to try to worry about when you're older. But I say that, but I used to always go out of bounds. So, you know, I guess you always worry about it every now and then. And here she's going for her last tumbling pass. Beautiful landing.
Wow, she stuck it.
The routine was stacked with power.
Splendid performance by Alicia Robinson.
And here's her front tumbling combination. Front layout, full through to front layout. You see how her foot almost slipped and went out of bounds, but she saved it.
And now the University of Nebraska and A.J. Lamb on the vault.
AJ is a strong senior for Nebraska, and she's going to start the event off right. For handspring front pike half, no deduction on the landing. That was a beautiful vault.
Now Jess Wirtz, and last year she tied with A.J. Lamb on the vault, defending Big 12 champs together.
Wirtz, a senior for Nebraska, has proven to be quite strong. Oh, a little crunched onto the horse, and then that's why she landed short on the landing.
So just a 9.175. And now Rochelle Simpson from Nebraska will try to equal what Lamb did.
Beautiful Yurchenko full, little hop on the landing. It'll be a slight deduction.
But she's tied with her teammate Lamb at 9.90. And we'll come back with more action from Columbia, Missouri, the Big 12 Gymnastics Championships on Fox Sports Net. To the 2003 Big 12 Women's Gymnastics Championships. And after one rotation, here are the scores. Missouri leading the way, Iowa State in second, Oklahoma third, and Nebraska the favorite right now in last place. The schedule for rotation 2 has Missouri on the vault, Nebraska on the bars, and Iowa State on the beam, and University of Oklahoma on the floor. On the vault from the University of Missouri, it's Alina Hamm, the senior.
This is their first vault competitor. It should be a strong vault. We're looking for form, amplitude, as well as a nice, solid landing. For a handspring pike, pretty clean landing. She seems to be quite pleased with that performance.
Tremendous. Big hug from her coach, Rob Drass, in his 4th year at Missouri. And there you see the instructions being given. As we will now head to the beam. And Courtney Sarrett from Iowa State. Senior. And this is definitely a good apparatus for Courtney. She's a top competitor in this event.
Yeah, and her career high is a 9.875, which means she only had a little bit more than a 10th of deduction, so very few mistakes on that routine. It's the simple turns that cause people problems. Get a little bobble after her full turn.
Do the competitors come up with a foot that is easier to land on and try to stick with that?
Well, just like nice series there. Well, just like, you know, you write with your right hand or your left hand, that's how it is with gymnastics. If you're a righty, you're most likely going to land on your right leg. Or if you're a lefty, the left. So that's usually decided quite young when you first start the sport. Oh. Little problems on that. She was supposed to hold the handstand for a minimum of 2 seconds, but she still may get the combination needed. And here she prepares for a dismount. One and a half, nice landing.
Courtney Sarrett from Iowa State. As we head to the bars now, and A.J. Lamb from the University of Nebraska.
Her warm-up, she warmed this up wonderfully. She hit all her handstands, caught her release move. Nice 1.5 right there. Full pirouette. Through to Ginger, beautiful.
She was a first-team All-America at the NCAA's last year in this event, the bars, also on the vault.
So far, this is a solid routine for AJ. You know, she's improved a great deal from last year, swinging a lot more fluid, which is what the judges are looking for. Here's her double layout dismount. Beautiful routine. She has to be pleased.
That was terrific as we now head to the vault. Lindsay Davis from the University of Missouri.
Here she goes for a round-off entry vault. That was a round-off half Arabian. That was a beautiful vault. She had a beautiful landing, and it's a blind landing at that, so it's very difficult.
One of the reasons Nebraska is number 2 in the nation, team depth, and head coach Dan Kendig talks about it.
We preach team so much, and to me that's the most important thing. There's not an athlete on my team would take an individual honor this weekend over a team honor, you know what I mean? And they feel that, you can say that, but to really mean that and feel that is really important. And it is we go into a meet, I feel like we're pretty deep on all 4 events with all 6 athletes.
Now Rochelle Simpson on the bars for Nebraska.
This is one of the events that she actually never scored a 10 on. I believe she scored them on almost all the other 3 apparatuses. Maybe she can do a 10 this evening.
Well, she is one of the best gymnasts in the nation. Second in the nation and all around.
Very true. Strong routine so far. Hit all her handstands, nice pirouette combinations. And here she goes setting up for her dismount. Landing is the key. Beautiful, no deduction on the landing. Great routine.
Oh, you can see that her coach, Dan Kendig, is very pleased with that.
Yeah.
He talked to us about how excited he is that Rochelle Simpson has had all of this success this year because he said she's such a great kid.
Yeah, the wonderful thing about speaking with Dan earlier, just saying how great Rochelle is not only as a gymnast but also as a person, and just watching her perform and watching her smile after performances is always refreshing to see that in any gymnast.
A lot of momentum going into that dismount.
You need it. Beautiful landing.
Now to the beam, and the freshman from Iowa State, Erin Detloff, getting a little encouragement before she gets started.
Well, KJ Kindler actually used to be a gymnast, so she really knows what she's talking about. She's been on an apparatus before. She's probably fallen off that apparatus many of times, so she's probably, just trying to give Erin a little bit of words of encouragement and give her those last-minute tips before a routine starts.
Twice this year, Detloff has been the Big 12 Gymnast of the Week. Outstanding for a freshman.
That is outstanding for a freshman. She's come into this squad right away, showing her potential, showing her leadership.
Oh.
Not a good way to start beam. It's very difficult to regain your composure, and that's her job right now.
That's got to be tough when you start out that way. How do you even take that off your mind?
Well, you just try to erase it. I know it sounds very hard, but it is. You just try to erase it out of your mind and act as if you made that mount. And you just want to finish the routine strong.
And you have to make sure it doesn't affect you on the other events.
Yeah, I doubt if she's thinking about the floor vault right now, but in college gymnastics, as we spoke about earlier, it's about team. And even though she may have this one fall, as long as she does the routine, perfectly the rest of the way, she can still score high in the 9s.
Nice landing there.
So far, she's doing a great job completing this exercise.
She broke the Iowa State all-time freshman record in all-around earlier this season against Oklahoma.
Well, there's been very little deductions other than her mount, which is going to be 5/10 of deduction. So, the highest score she could get right now is a 9.5. Beautiful dismount. A little disappointed with that routine just because of her fall.
Well, what went wrong here on this fall, Dominique?
Well, here she goes for her mount. Nice punch, just seemed a little bit off. Her arm seemed to just pull her off the beam a little bit. She might have punched the board wrong as well.
More excitement from Hearn Center as rotation 2 continues in just a moment on Fox Sports Net. On the floor exercise, it is Christina Gerard of Oklahoma.
Christina has an amazing story. I was speaking to Steve earlier. She is actually a walk-on, and after about 3 years competing, actually 3 years with Oklahoma, she has actually now earned a full scholarship. And now she's a 39.4 all-around kid, so that's a pretty amazing story. Nice double tuck somersault. It's funny, I was also speaking with her mother, who's also a collegiate judge, and she was saying how, her dad, as well as her mom, the mom was saying, went to Nebraska and actually were champion gymnasts there. So It's actually quite difficult for parents to sit in the stands and cheer for the Sooners. Beautiful. She opted to do some front tumbling for her last tumbling pass, and that seemed to be a great choice.
Very under control.
Yeah. That'll be a high score. Beautiful routine.
Did you sometimes feel that you would give up some of the speed on the floor to get the fluidity? Or even on the bars, as we go to the bars, and Tammy Harris, did you feel like, you know, you'd want to have more fluidity than even speed when you're turning?
Well, you really, on the uneven parallel bars, you want to focus on swinging. That's what the judges are looking for. You don't want to focus on strength, and you don't want to focus on muscling the tricks. You just want to swing, just like Tammy's doing right now. She's preparing for a dismount. Nice landing. Beautiful double layout somersault. Dan has to be pretty impressed with that.
Tammy Harris from the University of Nebraska, the favorites coming into this Big 12 championships. Now we go to the floor exercise, and Meredith Fricke of the University of Oklahoma. She's a freshman from Midlothian, Texas.
Opted not to leave too far from home. Oklahoma's not too far from there. So I'm sure she has a great fan base when she's back home.
At one point, she had the school record in this floor exercise at 9.95, but since that time, it's been surpassed by her teammate Patricia Aoki, who had a 10.
Right away with Meredith, what catches my eye is how she's performing to the crowd. Her tumbling's great, but it's the dance, it's the facial expressions, how she's getting the crowd involved. This is what the judges are looking for, and this is what's going to help her score high.
Alicia Robinson at this point from Missouri leads in the floor exercise at 9.95, so Meredith Fricke is going to need her best effort to be able to catch Robinson.
Here's a great time for her to take a little bit of a breather, preparing for a third and last tumbling pass, knowing that she has to stay in bounds as well as to have a clean landing to really help her team out.
I think it's interesting that her favorite athlete is Nolan Ryan. Oh. Said he was a great all-around athlete who worked really hard. Of course he did. He lasted so long.
I know. Well, hopefully Nolan can help her out on this last tumbling pass. And here she goes for her last pass. Front full, front pike, beautiful landing. Nice routine.
So Meredith Fricke from the University of Oklahoma. Beautiful performance on the floor. And now we go to the beam. And Laura K. Powell from Iowa State.
Here's another freshman that's been proving herself time and time this season. And I think for the balancing, she's probably a little nervous, but she warmed up quite well.
From Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. She's been a Canadian national qualifier for 7 straight years. And Dominique, talk about how early do you think it's recommended to get started in gymnastics? How young?
Well, I started when I was 6 years old, and I'm sure a lot of these young ladies here started at 5, 6, or 7 years old. It's really important to start young in our sport because you have quite a bit, almost a decade you need of training before you can even come close to earning a college scholarship. So it's really important to start while you're young. So far, this is a solid routine. No bobbles, and definitely no big deductions or errors. Oh. And here she goes to prepare for some back tumbling.
Oh.
Ow.
Now we're going to head to the vault in the University of Missouri. And Katie Rhodes Here's the freshman from Austin.
Nice Yurchenko entry, little bent arms on the vault, but beautiful landing.
Now Rachel Bridges, also from the University of Missouri.
Tigers have been pretty strong in this competition. And let's see how she does on vault. More amplitude on this vault. That was great. A little hop on the landing.
9.8 on the vault for Rachel Bridges, the senior, and Lauren Schwartzman, also on the vault. The freshman. Tied her career high just a week ago on the vault.
I would have to say that Yurchenko fulls are the choice for the Tigers on vault this evening.
We'll be back with more of the Big 12 Women's Gymnastics Championships in just a moment. Welcome back to the 2003 Big 12 Gymnastics Championships from Columbia, Missouri. Joe Castellano here with Dominique Dawes. And Dominique, so far, Oklahoma doing pretty well. I think we expected them to be in it, but Missouri second.
The Sooners are doing great. They started off on the balance beam, not the event to start on of choice, but they weren't shaky at all. They had solid performances. Then they went to the floor exercise, scored high there, and now they're on the vault. Mizzo hanging right in there. The hometown crowd has definitely helped them out. You hear the crowd now. You can hear it during the meet. They're definitely giving the Mizzo Tigers the advantage that they needed.
And what about Nebraska? We figured that they were going to do so well, and not yet, but in the next two rotations, you expect them to do well.
Well, always remember that saying, it's not over till it's over. There's 2 more events to go. We're only halfway through the competition right now. Nebraska is strong on all 4 apparatuses. The balance beam is next. Yes, a little shaky, but you never know. They could be solid, and then floor. That's the most explosive event to end on, and I'm sure they'll do just fine.
And we're not surprised so far about Rochelle Simpson. She leads the all-around, and she'll probably do just as well in the last 2 events, right?
Rochelle, wonderful competitor. She's a junior. She's a leader for Nebraska at this time. She's actually gone away with 8 individual career titles this season alone. So Rochelle just has to be solid, serious, and confident on the floor as well as on the balance beam, and I'm sure she'll do just fine.
All right, we'll see what happens in the final 2 rotations. Rotation 3 coming up next, right here from Missouri on Fox Sports Net. Welcome back to Columbia, Missouri, as we are at the Hearn Center for the Big 12 Gymnastics Championships. And as we check out the standings after 2 rotations, the favorite Nebraska in 3rd. Look for them to make a move in the last 2 rotations, right?
This is definitely going to be the time for them to start shining. Balance beam, a serious event, a very strong event, and they have a wonderful competitor starting up first for them.
And as we check out the rotation, there you see that Nebraska will be on the beam, a chance to make up some points. And here is A.J. Lamb on the beam.
Solid mount. Front somersault, one of the most difficult mounts that you can choose to mount the beam with, and she landed quite solid.
You know, I thought it was interesting talking to the head coach of Nebraska, Dan Kendick, about being the hunt, and as you see, loss of balance there.
Definitely a loss. That was her series. It was a back handspring through a back layout. She was a little off, and then she chose to fight for it, but she pulled herself off the balance beam.
But Dan Kendick said that he wanted to treat this like any other meet, not that his team is any better than anybody else.
Yeah, a lot of people don't go into meets thinking right away that we have to win. They think of walking into a meet and just doing the best job that they can, and they know if they go out with their strong performances, they will win.
Nebraska 17-1 this season, and they've won 5 of the 6 Big 12 titles.
Well, that was a unique move right there. It was a switch side leap down to a wrap around the balance beam. It has to be a little difficult to learn that at first.
Would you say that the beam is the toughest mentally to compete on?
It depends. For some people, some gymnasts, beam comes quite smoothly. Unique
Smooth
disc
landing
now.
right there.
Nice landing, but she has to be a little disappointed because of that fall. Here's her series right now, the flip-flop through to back layout. You see her front leg landed a little off the beam. She walked backwards, and then it pulled her off even more.
So it was tough for A.J. Lamb, the senior.
Yeah, not a good way to end her balancing routine, but she knows she still has floor exercise and she can finish up strong on that event.
Crystal Carney from Iowa State competing on the floor exercise, and 3 times this year she's had the career best of 9.90.
The Cyclones are going to definitely need that 9.9 for this competition.
They are in last place heading into the 3rd rotation.
Double pike somersault, a little wobbly on the landing, but she finished it quite well at the end.
That's a tough landing to make, isn't it?
It is a tough landing, but at the same time, you do see the floor, so you have a lot more control over those kind of landings than you do on front tumbling landings. Speaking of front tumbling, here she goes right here. Front layout full to a front tuck. Nice combination points right there.
Dominique, you were telling me that you used to really love doing the floor exercise.
Yeah, I used to really enjoy doing the floor exercise. I got a chance to really perform to the crowd and really just have fun. Let loose, dance, smile, enjoy yourself a lot more.
How much is that a part of it, the playing to the crowd?
It's important. The judges really want to see you give some kind of expression. They don't want to see someone looking at the ground or looking sad or tired for that matter. You putting a little extra, happy look on your face is going to add an extra 10, believe it or not.
Earlier we saw Alicia Robinson of Missouri put up a 9.95 on the floor. It's going to be tough to beat.
Crystal's ending right now with some front tumbling, front layout, front tuck. Pretty strong ending. Beautiful dance. She has to be pretty pleased with that performance.
Crystal Carney. And here's the last pass for her.
Here's 1 of 2 of her front tumbling passes. Front layout, clean form, tuck front. Beautiful finish.
Now to the bars, and Andrea Nervig of Missouri.
Hop half through a half. Nice hop half. A little shy on the overshoot, but so far our routine is quite clean. Pointed toes, straight legs. Preparing for a dismount right now. Double layout, no deduction on the landing.
Magnificent.
Great routine.
Andrea Nervig.
That was her overshoot hand, and now she's setting up for the second half of her routine. Excellent glide there. Toes were right up. Tap and a double layout, stretched somersault. Beautiful landing.
Wow, and she's interested in becoming an FBI agent. We can inspect her performance there and say it was tremendous.
Oh, that's exciting, because I wanted to become an FBI agent when I was little.
Now we go to the beam, and Jen French from Nebraska. And we saw disappointment earlier from A.J. Lamb on the beam for Nebraska. So they're probably feeling as a team they need to kind of pick it up here on this.
Well, they definitely do need to pick it up, but as we mentioned earlier, 6 gymnasts compete and only 5 scores count. So as long as the other gymnasts hit their routines solid like they know they can, AJ's fall really won't matter because they won't count her performance.
So Jen French, the senior from Greensboro, North Carolina.
And Jen's pretty solid on this event. Her last meet, she got a 9.85 on the balance beam. That's only a 1/10 and a half of deductions. So maybe she can top that score in this meet. You know, that press mount may look quite easy, but it is one of the most difficult strength moves that any gymnast will ever learn. She makes it look so easy, and she does it with so much ease, and that was a nice planche as well.
A lot of arm strength right there.
Arm, stomach, back, you name it, she's got it.
You know, here's the other thing. We talked about if you're starting out the competition on the beam and what that's like, maybe nerves. What about a little bit of fatigue as far as your body from doing the other competitions when you get to the beam?
You know, you're really not fatigued in a competition competition because when you think about it, you're only really doing gymnastics 30 seconds, if that, not even on the vault. A minute and a half on the floor, a minute and a half on the beam, and 45 seconds on the bars. So if you're tired during the meet, it probably means you're not training hard enough. So we always train 5 hours a day. So competing in a meet, you're really not going to get too fatigued. So far, this is a solid routine. She did a wonderful back handspring through a back layout, stuck it, no deduction. And that was a really nice lean combination as well.
Earlier, her teammate Livy Landgraf scored a 9.90 for Nebraska. She's tied for the lead in the beam.
And here's her dismount. Oh, she fought that landing on that dismount. Beautiful routine. She has to be pleased with that. And here you can really see how the beam is only 4 inches and she's flipping backwards. A little crooked on the second one, but as you see, she brought it right back in and stayed on.
And we'll come back with more as we are in rotation 3 of 4 at the Big 12 Gymnastics Championships from Columbia, Missouri. Well, Missouri hosting the Big 12 Championships. And we go to the bars now, and Missouri on the bars. And Alicia Robinson, who has been doing well in the competition, and Missouri as a team doing great as they are right now tied for first with Oklahoma.
Home team advantage, that's what I tell you. You know, it's definitely helped Missouri out. They've been listening to the audience, focus on them, cheer for them, and it's helped them out so far. Alicia started off with a nice hop full through a ginger.
And the sophomore earlier did a great job on the floor leading that competition.
And here she's setting up for a dismount. Nice swing. Double layout, a hop on the dismount. That'll be easily a 10th, but other than that, I didn't see any other problem.
Almost perfect for Alicia Robinson. As we go to the beam, and Nebraska's Rochelle Simpson, one of the best athletes, overcoming fear is something she's had to do.
There was a time when I was little when I was really afraid of beam and when I was really afraid of a lot of skills on beam, and somehow I worked through it, and ever since then I've just really enjoyed practicing and repeating stuff on beam and trying to learn new things, and somehow my fear just went away and I just learned to love it a lot.
And you can tell that she's not afraid of anything the way she competes now as a junior, the Toronto, Ontario native.
That's true. As she spoke about fear of balance beam, that is common in the world of gymnastics. It's 4 inches, and usually when we start, we're like 3 feet tall, so it's quite difficult to get over that fear, but it's a challenge, and that's why a lot of gymnasts stick with the sport, because it's a challenge and it's something you know you can work through. Beautiful series combination right there for her beginning.
She's had 8 individual titles this year.
Nice.
In the country in this event.
Beautiful jump combination. So far, everything's going quite smooth. Fear is not a factor for her right now.
She really enjoys training for this event. Now, I would think it'd be tedious. This is a tedious event.
Well, it is a tedious event, but in all events, you want to focus on detail, because that's when you know you become successful. When you really focus on the detail and you clean every little small thing up. It's one of my favorite apparatuses to work on as well as compete. So, you know, I can understand where she's coming from, where she said, just got to keep working on it, and then you learn to love it.
Michelle's so dominant that she had 6 Big 12 Gymnast of the Week awards out of the 11 weeks that they awarded it.
Well, all she has left now is her dismount, and if she sticks it, this will be a spectacular performance. Beautiful routine.
Yes.
She has to be pleased with that.
9.975. She takes the lead on the beam. As we head to the floor, and Erin Detloff. We focused a lot on the freshman from Iowa State, tremendously talented, little disappointment earlier, but now on the floor where she has had her career best 3 times this year.
Well, she might have had a fall off on one of the events earlier, but it's, you know, it's something good to learn from. You make mistakes, and it's best to learn from those mistakes, and I'm sure she's going to go back to the gym, work hard on her tricks, and really correct that mistake for the regional competition.
Detloff ranked number 16 in the country overall.
Beautiful double pike right there.
She's ranked 13th on the floor.
With her tumbling, you can see why. That was a unique combination, front tumbling into a 1.5 due to punch front. Something a lot of gymnasts usually don't want to try.
That was acrobatic.
Well, there are springs in this floor, believe it or not. That's a little secret that us gymnasts don't like to let out. But there are a few, like 1 or 2 springs, that help us kind of get up in the air a little bit. But it's still hard.
Look at the energy level she has.
Yeah. Showing that you have energy, showing that you have strength and strong endurance is something the coaches look for as well. It shows that you've worked hard and you've really prepared well for the meet. Here she goes for her last tumbling pass. Beautiful. Nice landing with that. This freshman has to be pretty pleased with this performance.
No question about it. Erin Detloff doing a much better job on the floor than she did earlier on the beam.
Here's her second combination. Round off whip half into a front 1.5 punch front. That was like 4 flips in a row.
Introducing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the only show taking you inside the world of extreme sports every weeknight. BMX rider Kip Williamson, free surfer Chad Towersey, and the sexy Leanne Tweeden are the experts bringing you the entire world of extreme sports all in one place with breaking news, event highlights, and insider features that you won't find anywhere else. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, weeknights, 5:30 p.m. and late night only on Fox Sports Net. Now back to the beam, and from the University of Nebraska, Jamie Sass.
Well, she's their last competitor on beam, which means she's one of their strongest competitors on beam. Solid, confident, and let's see how well she can do for the Cornhuskers.
Well, we have already seen a tremendous performance by Rochelle Simpson on the beam, and that garnered a 9.975. Can Sass do as well?
So far, it's pretty solid.
And if she performs well here, Nebraska has a chance to take the lead in the overall competition.
Nice front somersault. As you see, that's one of the beautiful things about collegiate gymnastics. Because this is so team focused, the small mistake that was made in the beginning is really not going through their minds right now. They're worried about hitting their routines for the team and focusing on the here and now.
This is the event that Jamie Sass is most confident in performing well in.
And it's definitely showing. Right now she's setting up for her dismount. Wow, beautiful routine and a unique dismount. Very difficult.
Dynamic performance by Jamie Sass. And a 9.925, second best on the beam so far. Nebraska taking over the lead as we go to the vault. Katie Hostler from Oklahoma on the vault.
This is the first Sooner we're seeing on vault. Front entry vault, front pike, beautiful vault. And as you can see, it's a front vault, so it's very difficult to land it perfectly.
9.875. And here comes Kristen Cox, also from Oklahoma.
Gaining that speed down the runway. Round off entry vault. Round off tuck full, a little crunched on the horse, but overall a nice vault.
As we continue on the vault,
Here's Christina
Gerard.
Here's Christina, an amazing story with Oklahoma. Started as a walk-on, is now a scholarship athlete. Beautiful round off entry, layout full. And she actually just learned that this year, I was told.
So that was the last of the 3 rotation events, and we'll come back with the last rotation in just a moment from Columbia, Missouri. It's a great day for gymnastics here in Missouri. The 2003 Big 12 Championships, and as we check out the standings, no surprise that Nebraska is in the lead. They've won just about every time at the Big 12 Championships except once. And Missouri, that's kind of a surprise that they're in second, the home crowd helping them.
That is very impressive.
As we see how it's going to go in the fourth rotation.
Nebraska ending on floor. Wonderful way to end the competition. This will be a test for them. Can they seal this championship right here?
And Missouri on the beam, and Rachel Bridges. And, you know, talking about Missouri, a lot of improvement. You see the season average for Rachel Bridges, but the improvement for Missouri from 2001 when they were 4-14 to last year when they were 8-8 and then 10-7 this year and ranked 25th in the country.
Joe, that's so true. I was speaking earlier to the assistant coach, Paul, and he was saying how this is an up-and-coming team, and they're definitely showing how they're up-and-coming already here at the Big 12 Championships. And solid performances on the beam is definitely going to prove how mentally strong they really are.
For Rachel Bridges, 10 of her 11 beam performances have been scores above 9.7.
And so far the routine's been quite clean, nice leap combination. And now she's preparing for a series. Slight bobble there, but she stayed on the beam, and that's the key.
Nebraska did very well in this event with top two performers, Simpson and Sauce.
Just as the judges are looking for personality and fluid dance on the floor, they're looking for it as well on the beam. She seems to be doing it quite well.
Last year she tied for 6th in the Big 12 Championships.
Setting up for a dismount. Last trick. Double full. Hop on the landing, but she looks quite happy with that performance. We're going to show you her series where she had a little bit of problems. See right there, she's a little crooked on her hands. And now she's wrapping her feet around the beam. That's a nice little trick we learned.
I'd give her a lot of points just for doing that, for hanging on. She deserves some extra points there.
Come on, Tara, let's get it.
We head to the bars now, and Tara Anderson of the University of Oklahoma, freshman from Phoenix.
This freshman's been doing quite well for the Sooners. They've had a strong season this year, beating UCLA, as well as having other championships won. So freshman definitely needs to have a solid performance on the bars.
And it's a young team that Steve Dino has at Oklahoma, ranked 6th in the nation. 13-7 this year.
So far her routine's going quite well. No muscling, nice handstands, and beautiful lines. Slight deduction on the landing, but overall, nice performance. And here she goes to set up for a dismount. Nice handstand. That's what judges are looking for. Beautiful tap. And a little short on the landing, slight deduction.
Then we're going to head to the vault now. And Susan Stock of Iowa State.
Let's go, Susan, let's see it.
We've seen some high scores on the vault from Nebraska, and Lamb and Simpson had 9.90. And see how Iowa State does.
And here Susan goes. Nice round off entry. Straight arms, beautiful, but did not have any repulsion off the vault. That's why she landed so short.
Dominique, different vault now.
Here's the problem that happened on her vault. No repulsion through her arms. Her arms were straight, but she whipped her head back and did not block off the horse.
It's a different horse now than it was when you were competing, too. Now on the bars, Leah Mueller of the University of Oklahoma.
Leah's pretty strong on this event. As you see, she scored a 9.95 before in the past and has been showing strong performances this season. Nice full pirouette. Do a Takacha. Beautiful amplitude on that. A little shy in her handstand on the straddle back. And here she goes to set up for a dismount. Nice tap swing. Beautiful double layout and the straight-legged landing. Wow.
That was a
Reduction on
special
that.
landing right there. And we're going to head to the floor exercise now. Libby Landgraf from Nebraska. Libby's 7th in the all-around competition so far.
She's also a junior, so she's been in this position many times before where she knows she needs to hit so they can win. Beautiful front tumbling, beautiful front to round out flip-flop, triple full.
She did well on the beam, standing at 3rd right now at 9.90 on the beam.
I really have to comment about Nebraska's leotards. I really liked it. It looked beautiful in person, but it looked even better on TV.
Does that help the scoring?
It actually does, believe it or not. If the leotard looks good on the gymnast and it's sparkly and has like a nice unique flair to it, it really makes a difference. In collegiate gymnastics, I believe it does.
It's also interesting if you put more difficulty into your routine and you're able to perform it, then you're going to score better. So what kind of strategy does Nebraska use? Do they feel that they can perform some of the more difficult events or at least routines?
Well, many of these young girls that are competing in the competition, all of their routines are actually starting from a 10-0, going by the level 10 code of points. It's too complicated to discuss right now, but it pretty much has to do with degree of difficulty.
Like that?
Like that. And it has to do with degree of difficulty, and all these girls have worked hard when they were younger to be able to do these hard tricks that they do today. So that's why their routines are all starting from 10-0s. It was a wonderful routine.
Very athletic. Watch Libby Landgraf.
Here's her last pass. She's a little tired here, but you really can't tell. Nice twister, beautiful landing.
And we'll come back with more of Rotation 4 as we are coming to the conclusion of the Big 12 Gymnastics Championships. Welcome back, Joe Castellano and Dominique Dawes with you from Columbia, Missouri. And the critics are calling the best damn sports show, period, a 2-hour frat party with irreverent skits, insightful interviews, and sharp locker room banter. The best damn sports show, period, every weeknight at 8 and late night only on Fox Sports Net. And let's go to the bars. And Casey Tamayo, the junior from Sacramento. And you can see that she's already had a 10 in this event in her career.
Well, she knows she can't do anything wrong to top that score.
But Dominique, what determines how much time you spend on the higher bar as opposed to the lower bar?
Really, it's all about getting your combinations and all your tricks in. If it takes you 30 seconds versus 10 seconds, then that's all you do. You take the time you need. So far, this routine is so clean. She's pretty impressed with that performance.
Wonderful landing. 9.90 for Casey Tamayo. On the floor, it's A.J. Lamb of Nebraska. Nebraska in the lead. The team competition.
AJ is pretty explosive and powerful on the floor. And you'll see this right away.
She had a tough time on the beam earlier, but she's blocked that out of her mind.
Oh, I'm sure that's behind her. That was beautiful. Whip back to double back somersault. That's a pretty difficult tumbling pass to start with. And AJ's a senior, and I'm sure she's letting it out, knowing that this is her final year with this team. So I'm sure she's giving it her all.
There you can see the confidence.
Beautiful height on a double pike somersault.
Athletic, at the same time, very feminine in her approach to it.
Well, nice choice. Pink Panther for her music, something that everyone can relate to. So, you know, that's always good. Music selection, usually when the choreographer picks the music or when the gymnast picks the music, you try to have something that matches your personality. So you got to talk to her later and find out how she feels like she relates with the Pink Panther.
And the timing is perfect for her with the song.
Oh, yeah, timing is important. You can't dance off to the music. Just like you don't want to go to a club and dance off, you definitely don't want to be on the floor exercise and dance off to your music because it will be a deduction. The judges can tell. Beautiful front layout, front tuck. Opted for an easier tumbling pass at the end, but it's a wonderful routine.
And a splendid performance by A.J. Lamb.
And here's A.J. going for a second tumbling pass, double pike. Beautiful height, little arm circle there, but she finished it quite well.
Was that intentional? I think it was. No. And now we're going to go to the beam and Alicia Robinson from the University of Missouri. She has really had a great time here at the Big 12 Championships.
She has had a rock-solid performance so far, but as you saw, her season average for the balance beam is just a little bit over a 9.5, and the Tigers are going to need more than a 9.5 for them to try to become the champions for this competition. Solid series right there. 2 back handsprings into a back layout, straight legs, pointed toes, no deductions. See those turns? She had a little bobble in her turn. It's those full turns and those little dance moves that sometimes get you when you're not thinking right away.
She was the leader in the floor exercise. Lost a little balance there.
A little bit, but she regained it quite quickly. Maybe the judges blinked. You know, it's quite important, you know, when I look in the audience, I see a great group of young girls that are looking at these girls as role models, and I'm sure they're dreaming someday that they're going to be on the balance beam someday competing just as she is. So these young girls are absorbing all that they're getting from this competition just by watching these wonderful role models. Setting up for a dismount. Gainer full to the side, beautiful landing.
And she's excited. 9.850. We go to the floor exercise, and Rochelle Simpson has been spectacular in this event twice this year with 10s.
Twice this year. I have a feeling she can get a third. I mean, she's been performing so well so far in the competition, and she's ending up on floor, one of her best events, and last up for her squad.
She is dynamic in this event, 6th in the nation.
Beautiful double layout somersault, a very difficult tumbling pass.
She already leads the beam, leads the all-around.
I like that. That was quite unique. Front tumbling into a jump, not the standard lunge that everyone does. She did something different. Something different and unique is what the judges like to see, and that's how she earns those 10s that she's done in the past.
Nothing awkward about her floor exercise. She's very fluid.
Very fluid, great flexibility, great dance. Nice expression. She might not be smiling, but she doesn't need it with this music. And strong tumbling. I mean, she's got the whole package going for her right now. And she's only a junior. So she's got a whole rest of the season as well as a senior year to continue to look spectacular.
She transferred from Penn State after her freshman year.
Definitely a good transfer move for her. She's doing wonderful.
Going to a Big 12 powerhouse in Nebraska.
And here she ends with her last tumbling pass. Whip back to double pike. Beautiful amplitude and a perfect landing. Beautiful.
Let's watch Rochelle Simpson again.
And here's her second tumbling pass. Front full to front pike layout through to a jump. A nice little combination there. Something unique.
And let's check out the score. After a scintillating performance by Rochelle Simpson, a 10.
That's
Third time this year.
That's her third 10, and what a wonderful way to end the competition with a perfect routine.
That was terrific.
She doesn't even look winded. She's ready for another routine right now.
She'd go through a whole competition again.
I know.
And now we're going to check out the vault, Iowa State and Dzieko Kalina. Career best 9.750.
It's the first time we've seen Dzieko Kalina today. Front pike, beautiful height on the vault. A slight deduction on the landing, but she has to be pretty pleased with that.
Now Abigail Ritchie, also from Iowa State, sophomore. And one thing we were going to talk about was the vault being different.
Yeah, this is a new vault. It's put this way for safety reasons, and it's definitely helped her out.
But of course, they had to make an adjustment. And that is going to do it for the Big 12 Gymnastics Championships. And we'll come back and wrap it up right after this on Fox Sports Net. The Big 12 Gymnastics Championships are complete from the University of Missouri, and Nebraska wins it for the 6th time in 7 seasons, with Oklahoma its first second-place finish since 1997, and Missouri the first time in the top 3. Well, it certainly has been an enjoyable event, and we congratulate all of the winners, especially Nebraska, and Dominique Dawes is standing by with the winners.
Joe, I am here with the this Big 12 champions right here. Nebraska did a wonderful job. Congratulations, girls. Wonderful competition. Dan, you have been with Nebraska for 10 years. You have 6 titles, 3rd consecutive title. The keys to success, many of them are 1, consistency, and number 2, paying attention to detail. How did you instill this in all these young girls?
I'll tell you what, it's just, they came with it, really, a lot of them, and they just have a tremendous work ethic, and they set a goal this year and have been very determined the whole year. And we have a lot of goals. We set very high goals this year, and this team just keeps on keeping on.
Team aspect, very important. Earlier we spoke about how special these girls are to you, not only in the gym but outside of the gym, how they're smart people, they make smart decisions. Us gymnasts take a great deal away from our coaches. What are you going to take away from these class of champions that you've worked with for so many years?
Pretty much they just never give up. You know, I mean, today we opened the door a little bit on vault. We had a little trouble to start out, but not one face showed me that they were going to give up. They fought. We did the next 3 events better than we have in a long time, and I just think that it's just a tribute to they were not going to give up. They were just going to keep fighting until the very end.
Well, Dan, Huskers, congratulations. Good luck the rest of the season. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Dominique, and Nebraska looks poised to do well at the NCAA Championships. For Dominique Dawes, I'm Joe Castellano saying so long from Columbia, Missouri.